Hey guys, this is Black Woman 7 here, and today I'll be going over our team matchup for KCBL Semifinals for this part of the season. So we're at that point of the season where, as you can see with this song displayed, we're almost there at the end, the finish line. Like we just need one more battle to finals, and yeah. So, well, right now we have a very strong opponent we have to face, and probably going to be our toughest challenge yet, as we're going to be battling against Knightmare 205. So now Knightmare's team is quite scary and very defensive, if you ask me. So it has some of the most, like, I guess you could say, if you want to say the F word, faddish / bulky offensive Pokemon you've seen. Definitely a very strong core indeed. Yeah. In which, like, he's been able to get like to I think the first round for ease, and he won like the second round against Jake in the rather exciting set. So I may link that battle if you guys want to see that one. So but for this game, I'm pretty much certain that like he's gonna bring off all the stops here to try to stop us from going to finals, or put an end to our win streak in a sense. So yeah. Anyways, let's just get right off into the team like build. So right off the bat, he has a Tornadus, of course, one of the best Pokemon in the game, and the fact that with Regenerator you're able to like recover back like a third of your HP every time. So this thing's pretty much hard to kill. And of course, this thing doesn't have Roost, but at least this thing has Regen. Just keep switching in and out. Has moves like Knock Off, U-Turn. It's pretty much set there just to like annoy the mons. And by the way, as I always say, every Pokemon except for the Mega, of course, has potential to use an Z move, or like some of the listed ones we have in this league. So, but most of the offensive Z moves. So these guys, they all have a potential to be a Z move user. So just like in any other like standard game. So, but yeah, Zygarde and like Tornadus, as I listed, will have potential. Are pretty much my most likely like mons to have a Z move, since Torn obviously wants to be able to hit those accurate hurricanes and have a very strong like flying move just to like pierce through a certain team, so a certain mon. So I'm pretty certain that like he'll bring Tornadus this game, since he's brought it every other game. So just because it's speed tiering, like the utility it offers and whatnot. So yeah. Then you have Mega Aggron, which, I mean, this thing is an absolute unit. You know what? I'm just gonna call it that. Absolute. This thing's an absolute unit because, come on, this thing has the bulk of a tank. Like 230 with filter. It's just, you're not breaking this thing, especially when tandem with Vaporeon. So yeah, that's the reason why I think he's gonna bring this thing. It's probably his best defensive wall, his best offensive option against like mons like like my Scizor, my Latios, even Manaphy if you ask me. So he has to be very careful like setup, but of course this thing will likely be the rocker of his team unless it's like Nihilego. Rocks, Heavy Slam, Fire Punch, or he could just go with Curse. One set I'm very scared of him breaking is Block plus Curse, like Rest, which can actually just 6-0 my team, especially the one I have. So I have to kind of be careful about being trapped with the right Pokemon. So yeah. So, anyways, but I would say that Aggron's just, again, an absolute unit. I pretty much expect this thing to be like Spadef, since of course defense is already sky high, especially for level 50. So I would like to remind everyone that this is level 50s, not level 100s. So a Wi-Fi draft league. So yeah. And then we have what he calls the worst Pokemon, Vaporeon. I mean, we had a lot of people complaining about this Pokemon for a while, but then again, after we just saw, we call this thing Water Jesus or something. I don't know. Okay, let's avoid what I just said there. Just pretend I did not listen to I mean, we all know what Vaporeon does. It scalds. It does wish stuff, cleric stuff, baton passes. It even has some offensive coverage, like, you know, Shadow Ball, Signal Beam, and even like potentially like phase if it wants to like be that thing. But honestly, I think this thing was better as a Roarmon. So yeah. The only other coverage move I could see it running is Ice Beam for Lottie. But yeah. Then you have Vikavolt, which, like I said, this thing is actually... I honestly think this thing's gonna come 100%, just given how weak my matchup is against this thing. So I have to be very careful. Of course, this thing could have Thunderbolt, Bug Buzz. Like, I don't really have a Pokemon that, like, deals with this offensively. And, yeah. So I'm pretty much expecting this to be, like, some kind of, like, offensive set, like, even Life Orb or Z-Move. So, as you can see, from right here, like, none of my Pokemon can just take it very easily. So, yeah. Like, Manaphy, Latios, Scizor just set up fodder. Sylveon and probably, maybe Miltank are, like, the two that could deal with it. And Crocodile, of course, is, like, you know, ground, but then again, he has, like, Bug Buzz, so yeah. But that's Vikavolt. Then you have Nihilego, which, I'm not that worried about it, since I have a Scizor and Lottie, Manaphy, so... But, of course, it's in his other rocker, and also potential T-Spiker, which is a Pokemon that I'm kind of concerned about. This thing bringing T-Spikes, so... pretty much, if this thing sets up T-Spikes, I'm screwed. Because of the team I'm bringing, but, yeah. The thing is, like, Nihilego is just strong, like, especially offensive mon, even though it has a very low defense stat. Like, it just makes up for its high HP, special attacks, even speed. Like, it's very trollish, and unlike special attack as well, so you could opt to boost either special attack or speed, depending on how much how away he invested with its EVs, so yeah. I kind of expect it to come, just because it's another rocker, not a T-Spiker. So I'm just kind of like, yeah, I'm kind of in the... It could be one of those Pokemon who you just drop out, but I don't know. Then you have Zygarde, which is another threat. I know they recently banned Zygarde in OU, but like in Draft League, most of the league, you're gonna see this thing a lot. So, still, and make no mistake, this thing with 1,000 arrows with 1,000 arrows means I have no switch-ins to it, aside maybe some Pokemon like Scizor and defensive Miltank. But again, this thing, what the hell are they doing when I have a sub and a coil set? Like, or even Choice Band Zygarde or like Dragon Dance Zygarde. Once it sets up, it's pretty much damn near impossible to stop. So yeah, having Pokemon with like respective coverage is going to be very important to have. And Zygarde is just one of those Pokemon that has like, it just has the move just to hit everything. And then you have E-Speed, so yeah, on top of that. I'm pretty much expecting some kind of like weird Zygarde setup set, so yeah. Sneasel, I don't expect it to come, but if it does, it's probably before Latios. Since Latios, I have an idea what I'm going to bring for my Latios, but you'll see at the very end of the video, so, or the segment, so. I don't think he'll bring, like, let's say Z-Move. I think he has to bring Choice Band, just because, or Life Orb, because that's, he needs, like, the amount of, he needs that much, like, damage output to even attempt to break through a lot, like, stuff like Manaphy or my, Miltank, so yeah. Especially with knockoff, low kick, and then from there, it's like kind of like, what do you want to choose? Like, you want to choose Ice Shield Crash, Ice Punch? Of course, like one of those two. Ice Shard or whatever, so, and low kick or Pursuit, so. I don't really expect Sneasel, but if it does come, it's probably for Latios and just Revenge Killing. Then you have Tangrowth, which, of course, the other regen mon. I kind of expect this thing being like, I don't know why, but if he does bring it, I kind of automatically gonna assume it's gonna be AV, because if it's not AV, then my Manaphy can kind of kill it, unless it's like Yachi Berry. But yeah, like, I mean, it has the coverage. Hit up my entire team with Knockoff, Giga Drain. Even has like some coverage, interesting coverage like Endeavor, Leech Seed. Again, that's assuming if you don't have like you know, the what was it? No EV, so Sleep Powder, Stun Spore, It can even Sword Stance up if it wants to, so we gotta be careful with this thing. But yeah. Then you have Togetic, who's very tight. Honestly, of the three right here, Zangoose and Monferno, I think Togetic makes an appearance over any of these Pokemon. Since it's a very, it gives him another Spadef wall, and it gives him another check to Lottie, but at the same time it's too frail, and kind of passive, and then also we kind of neutered the Baton Pass rules a bit, so yeah. So he can't really pass like multiple stats. I think he can pass one, but not like speed and stuff like that. I think he could nasty pass, but that's about it. But then again, the only thing I think of is probably Torn, but yeah. Then you have Zangoose, which, oh boy, I'm actually kind of terrified about this thing. Because I realized that Toxic Boost is basically like Facade on steroids. And you give Facade with Toxic Boost, well, you'll figure that out, so. I pretty much expect like Zangoose to be like some sort of Sword Stance set if he does bring it. Maybe with Close Combat or Fire Punch just to hit like my Scizor, so yeah. And maybe Quick Attack, you know. And lastly, Monferno, which honestly I don't really expect, but it's only there just to hit like Scizor. Like honestly, aside maybe an offensive set or even like Eviolite with like U-turn, Rocks, Encore, like I think it has Endeavor. Like I'm not so sure. Like maybe he just brings a Sash lead with Endeavor just to like try and you know, deal with me. So yeah, but that's his team. So let's get on to my squad. So right off the bat, let's just start off with like our ground type, and that is Crocodile, which honestly I wasn't very keen on bringing it, but after realizing how much of a threat Vikavolt is, like, you know, I didn't want this thing to Volt Switch around my whole team, and I'm just like, yeah, like I know he has Bug Buzz, but like still, I don't want him to Volt Switch around my whole team, which is a lot worse than that. So, and of course I need something to rock up. So, since Torn and Nihilego, Vaporeon, like yes, some of the Pokemon like I mentioned, like Vaporeon, Togetic, Aggron, aren't gonna will likely recover that up. At the very least, I'll do enough chip to help long term against for my Latios and my Manaphy. That's all you'll see. So, Earthquake is just a general damage, knock off, remove items, pretty self-explanatory, and then Taunt just to prevent like stuff like Aggron, Togetic, Vaporeon, or like some others, or even Zygarde from setting up. I almost came close to running Snatch, but Snatch just it just comes down to like a lot of 50-50s and predictions, and I'm like, there's like a very good likelihood he doesn't bring Snatch or Zygarde, so I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go for Taunt because I'd rather stop like something like Vaporeon from wishing up, like let's say Zygarde, or it's a more consistent option basically. So, yeah, I don't have a lot of speed on this thing because I actually opted for more Spadef, but more HP and Spadef just to like be able to take a Hurricane from like Torn or like a Z Hurricane specifically. And I do have a Papa Berry just to recover up from HP, so yeah. There's not really much to say, but that's like our main defensive pivot against those Pokemon, so yeah. Then we have Miltank, which is actually this is probably like the first Ekmon I have in this team. And I do have double status Miltank with Toxic, Thunder Wave, Seismic Toss, Moltres, so and it's Spadef with leftovers, so with Dick Fat. I was thinking about Sap Sipper, but I think Dick Fat was better for the Sneasel option because I noticed my team was a little bit too weak to that thing. So, anyways, also because of Monferno, so whatever. Thing is, originally I had Body Slam, but then one of my friends, I think it was either Abrupt or whatever, I forgot his name. Yeah. Either Abrupt or Slick. I'm not so sure, but they mentioned that, like, you know, you should just run Seismic Toss and just because, like, the thing is, Seismic Toss does not care about how much investment you have. It'll always do like 50%, or not 50%, but like, was it, was it like just 50, like HP guaranteed damage. Now, you might think that's kind of shitty, but the thing is, given like the team matchup, like, and given the fact that I'm gonna be facing a possible Mega Aggron, like, chip damage is gonna be very vital, especially if I'm able to do at least like, let's say like almost a quarter of its HP, or about a quarter of its HP every time. So, like, being able to chip down mons like, let's say like Vaporeon, Aggron, especially since it has no recovery aside rest. Of course, Zygarde, those mons like Tornadus, like, I don't have to worry about running investment, and if I do get burned, it makes those against Vaporeon, it makes me set up fodder. So yeah, I do have Toxic and Thunder Wave, and the reason why I have Thunder Wave is just to paralyze mons like Orn, the again the Mega Aggron. It's pretty much it gives me a way to like kind of like have Yellow Magic work against him. Hostile speed control is very helpful, and I have Toxic just for the Zygarde, just for the Vaporeon, like Togetic. Yeah, so being able to break those Pokemon, just do those. Like, think about it. If you like, Torn's not going to be able to switch into multiple seismic tosses and auto rock switching. Like, those are going to be forced down. So same with Vaporeon, it's going to be forced to wish up, especially if I have Toxic. So I pretty much have to like kind of. This is pretty much a weird like wall / pressure mon in a way, but of course like this set could just get completely stopped by a sub mon, like, you know, a sub 100 or HP 100 like base HP like mon like Zygarde. So I got to be careful about that. So, which leaves us to our next Pokemon, Sylveon, because how convenient. Hyper Voice can go through substitutes. So yeah. So anyways, Sylveon is our Cleric option. Cleric response, pretty much healing up these Pokemon. And I was debating about bringing Calm Mind, but I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna bring a standard Cleric Sylveon. The only difference is that I need more Spadef to take on like something like Vaporeon. Well, not Vaporeon, but like Vikavolt. There you go. I just literally blanked out there, but sorry everyone. So again, I need Hyper Voice just to be able to hit something like Sub Zygarde. And I do need Wish, Heal Bell, just to, like, you know, do its Cleric things. Protect, just to scout out possible Scarfers, possible, like, what actions do my opponent want to do, or just draw toxic damage. So, yeah. Not really much to say, it's pretty standard, but, of course, having that Wish potential and our Cleric response is a lot more important in this game than, just, like, keeping a vital Pokemon. I don't view Sylveon as, like, kind of a win con, only until hit, like, once it's basically like Torn, Vikavolt, you know, his special attackers, then I view it as a win con. And the fact that they don't have rest, then Sylveon and everything is toxic, yeah, then Sylveon can just swallow them out. So now we get to our like wall breakers. So the first Pokemon we have is Manaphy, which honestly I went with Modest with some like mixed offensive like defensive capabilities, mostly with Spadef here and there. I went with this set because one, I wanted to draw as much, like, let's say I knew that, okay, let me start over. I knew that if I run like Speedy Manaphy, it's not gonna have enough bulk to take on something like, let's say, or offensive power to take out, like, let's say, Mega Aggron, Vaporeon, or like Horn. So pretty much I made like sort of an assessment of saying, hey, you know what, you're not gonna be able to kill those things, but you kind of might as well just make a compromise, since most of as you can see, most of Knightmare's team right here with like Pokemon that I'm already gonna outspeed mons like Vaporeon, Vikavolt. Zygarde's already gonna maybe outspeed me or just do heavy damage. Like, this is the one mon I have to concede or whatever. So yeah, I really want to hope that like Ice Beam just does more to this thing. Basically, it gives me a chance to, with Modest, I have a chance to like possibly get the Yoko and Angrod, especially if I get some good chip damage. Like, I think like 20 or 25%. Also against Togetic. The only Pokemon I have to worry about is Zangoose, since that thing just puts Facade. Toxic Boost actually knocks me out. So yeah. But likewise, Surf, Ice Beam, or Neutral Ball hits his entire team for neutral coverage, and I do have a Gualberry just to recover up like 50% once I'm very low or critical HP. So yeah. Then we have our Red Baron, the Mega Scizor. As I will explain, basically it's our pivot option slash sweeper, one of our sweepers. I was actually opting to go for Bug Bite, but then at the last minute I just chose U-turn because I felt like having a Mon to like pivot into, let's say, Gladio, Sylveon, Crocodile, and Miltank would be a lot more important than, like, you know, possibly like snatching a possible, like, let's say I have Papa Berry from, let's say, Zygarde, or 50% Berry or whatever, but chances are likely he's not going to bring that stuff. He's just going to bring, like, he's going to bring, like, leftovers and whatnot, so, or even, like, an offensive item, so I figured, like, having a more consistent option and better options better for U-turn. And of course, Sword Stance. Yes, it sounds weird running U-turn with Sword Stance together, but sometimes it works. Obviously, that's for Bullet Punch. If in case, like, once Vaporeon's weak enough, I could just, like, kill it off, so... And, yeah, I could actually set up on Vaporeon if I really do want to, but, of course, I have to assume that once Toxic is in, and once he doesn't have Heal Bell, or he does, or I just stalled out of it, then I could just possibly just go for Sword Stance, maybe U-turn out, build them on, like, let's say my Blue Devil Gladios, but yeah, so this the last Pokemon is Blue Devil, modest nature, and pretty much here just out, like, this thing is our main primary wall breaker, and or secondary wall breaker slash sweeper, and the Mon I really hope it works the most this game because God, this thing is like hits like a truck once you like with modest nature. Dragon Pulse with Calm Mind Boost just hits everything. Same with Thunderbolt. I've actually opted for Z Thunderbolt just because after I think +2, I think it OHKOs like not Zygarde. It OHKOs Mega Aggron that's Spadef, especially, and it's pretty much ensured once I like the rock. I get that little 6% rock damage, and then also like, or if I get like a hit one on with like a Thunderbolt prior. So yeah, modest nature is pretty much to ensure it. Of course, the only thing I don't outspeed is Nihilego, but of course I could always bluff that I have a psychic move. So yeah, so that's gonna be the team. So I'm gonna pretty much split this off. So if you guys want to like go ahead and watch the second part, I already left leave like a link to the part 2 of this battle, which is the actual matchup. So yeah, so see you guys there. So. All right, so welcome back. So right now we were facing Knightmare 205. So or that's his alt on PS. So yeah, and so far looking at his team, pretty much exactly what I expected, except for like maybe one Pokemon that's probably a Togetic. Tornadus, Mega Aggron, Vaporeon, and Vikavolt are like mons I kind of expected this game. Nihilego was kind of like one of those mons I kind of like pulled in between, like, let's say Zygarde, the Sneasel, and the Tangrowth. I kind of expected one of those, or two of those things there. I did not expect the Togetic though, so the fact that he brought this thing in probably means it's Defog, and this Tornadus, or Heal Bell, so, and this Tornadus might have some other options, like maybe Taunt, U-turn, and maybe some other coverage options, so, of course, you gotta be careful about that, so in terms of leads, I'm pretty much on the fence on between Crocodile and Miltank, like going back from this game, but then I realized, you know, I might as well just start going, I might as well leave Miltank, because if I get a T-Wave on Tornadus, or Toxic on one of these Pokemon, except for Nihilego, which Baron and I would just go for T-Wave, I just at least like remove one, like, it pretty much neuters them basically, or just ensures that I pretty much get a potential free turn. So yeah, so I go into my Miltank as he goes into the Tornadus. So yeah, right now I'm just like sitting there with my cow, so, and just minding my own business, and there's this bird right here. So anyways, right now I'm pretty much concerned with this matchup, because I'm pretty much like, okay, so what is he gonna do? Is he gonna U-turn out? Is he gonna taunt me? Is he gonna like attack in general? So I figured that since Tornadus is such a huge threat to my team, I just go straight for the Thunder Wave. He goes for taunt, reading this, expecting this, so yeah, that's pretty much a good read on his end. Goes for U-turn, goes to Aggron, as I'm pretty much forced to reveal Seismic Toss, but again, like as I mentioned before, like I know 28% of its HP is not that much good damage, but it's better than like what Body Slam would have done. So yeah, and also being able to chip this thing through, like let's say defense boosts like Curse will be nice. So yeah, of course I get my leftover recovery. So yeah, I go for Crocodile just to get the Intimidate on this thing, and I'm just gonna like get my rocks up. But he also goes for his rocks. He gets to Togetic as I go for rocks. Of course, he wants to get in Togetic before, like, you know, get chipped down, so... at this point, I'm like, alright, so what this thing can do? Obviously, this thing has a good offensive typing against me. Being able to, like, take on most of Crocodile sets. Unfortunately, I don't have rocks, or a rock coverage like Stone Edge, so I'm forced to kind of, like, go for knockoff or taunt. But of course, I don't want this thing setting up for something. So I'm just going to go for the taunt as he goes for the Dazzling Gleam. And I'm already like, okay, so at least we know that this thing has a recovery move and an attacking move now. So we got to figure out the other two options. So, but unfortunately, since he didn't go for like, let's say like one of those support options, we're kind of on the fence on that. So yeah, he actually switches out here, which is like very interesting. I go for the knockoff, trying to remove the item. As he actually reveals the Agua Berry, which he was just at 25%, so that's really helpful. So, the fact that we moved the Agua Berry on this Torn is pretty huge there. But of course, this thing is now a knockoff switching, so that's something I got to be careful about. So yeah. Also, Togetic is likely gonna get chipped down, and the fact that like he switched in Torn ASAP means like he may have defog on this thing. So, but of course, here I decided actually to stay in because I felt that, you know what, I might as well just go for a double knockoff. And the reason why I went for this is because I felt like he was just going to U-turn regardless, and at that point I would just get my berry activation. So yeah, of course I'm already like losing my own berry, but at the very least I wanted to go for double knockoff in case he went for like, let's say Togetic or Vaporeon. Moving like a Violite or leftovers will be huge. So yeah. So yeah, I go back into Miltank, take some rocks damage, and he goes for the defog. And right now, it's pretty much somewhat even, but at this point, like, he hasn't lost that much because, you know, Torn can just regain back those HP. And I'm pretty much kind of like in a weird situation, so yeah. Here, I have to kind of go for like E-Wave here, expecting like either something. And of course the Aggron gets in, and I'm like, yeah, I got him. So I wasn't expecting Torn, but maybe something like, let's say Vaporeon or Nihilego, but or Aggron, very likely. So yeah, the fact that I get the Aggron is huge. So yeah, being able to paralyze it is very important. So it's obviously I can't toxic it, so I might as well paralyze it. So yeah, I go back to Crocodile just to go for my rocks again. As again he's gonna try to get like his recovery up with this with regeneration. So yeah, he goes back to I go back to Miltank as he goes for taunt, trying to prevent like rocks or like, you know, my Miltank from going for status. So at this point, I'm pretty much getting a lot of information from this team since Aggron, I pretty much know Aggron's rocks. Togetic is some kind of weird setup set, and this thing we only saw U-turn, taunt, and probably something like and we also saw Togetic with defog, so yeah. So this thing may have some other offensive coverage options, so yeah. Since the fact that Tornadus doesn't have to be a defogger, it frees it up, so I'm just gonna like go for like my Seismic Toss. Unfortunately for him it misses, but I would be able to take that. And I'm able to chip him down very significantly, so really helpful there. So here I'm actually just gonna go for Seismic Toss, and this is what I mean, like the fact that I could just ignore these defenses. If I could catch these Pokemon on the switch in, then pretty much like Togetic is now dead at this point. Unless he decides to sack something else. are going to Aggron or Vaporeon. But the fact that Togetic is now within range of Seismic Toss, I don't know if I keep setting Body Slam. I don't know if I kept setting that. Well, if I did, I do apologize, but still. Like, so at this point, I'm just gonna go for another Seismic Toss as he goes into Ivy, Vaporeon. So yeah, at this point, I'm like, all right, so I might as well reveal my other tech option with the Toxic. So I'm gonna just go for Toxic right here, just as he goes for the Wish. And unfortunately, this means he is gonna get up to full with one of his Pokemon, like Aggron, but except for Togetic. So at least we poisoned this thing. And with this tandem with the Seismic Toss timing with Toxic, it should be able to wear down this Vaporeon, especially if I could get a Brox and if I could remove the lefties. But yeah, but it will be a very interesting situation to how to get them that scenario. So, but one thing is that being able to chip this down significantly means that Manaphy with Energy Ball should be able to knock it out. So from the range stat, but of course he's gonna be able to wish it back up. So yeah. I am burnt, but again, this is actually better for me because, of course, I'm not toxic burn, so at least I could be much like I could pretty much stick around instead of toxic wear down. So yeah, so I'm just gonna go for another Seismic Toss, just pressure this Vaporeon, so get left over. So most of this battle, as you can see, I'm pretty much trying to wear this Vaporeon down as much as I can, as he is able to put me at around the 50% mark. But of course, Toxic for him is starting to rank up. So yeah, I'm just gonna go for a Milk Drink. But of course, he goes to Aggron. So yeah, unfortunately for me, I pretty much have to go for a Seismic Toss here. And well, as you'll see, he goes for Rocks, getting them up very quickly. So thing is, I'm pretty concerned that this thing may have a rest, but at the same time, the fact that he goes for Rocks again implies that maybe he's not that weird curse setup set. He could be Heavy Slam, Curse, Rest, and then Rocks. That could be a set he could run. So yeah, here I decide to just go for the Seismic Toss, as for some reason he just sacks the Togetic. Since I think he was expecting me to switch out there, but honestly I didn't want to switch out at all, since there was no reason to do so. I just wanted to chip down the Aggron as much as I can. So as he goes back to the Genie, here I decide just to keep going for Seismic Tosses. Of course, this is the part of the plan. Of course he could just regen this back up, but it's not really of course I have to just keep attacking no matter what. So yeah, he misses the Hurricane again, which is unfortunate. The second time he misses. And right now the Hacks is kind of in my favor right now. So, but honestly, I'll take it since I just need to find ways to chip his team down. So he's kind of forced to go for these U-turns. But as you can see, this Vaporeon's pretty much very, very low. He's pretty much forced to go for the Wish, and it's kind of interesting how this Miltank is just being able to 1v1 his entire team. So yeah, I'm pretty much trying to just keep everything low, ensure that pretty much force him to stick around. So he's gonna get back some HP, but of course Toxic's just gonna keep ticking on him. So of course I have to be very concerned with him wishing up the Aggron. But the thing is, if he goes for the Wish to Aggron, especially around this HP mark, he's gonna be very, very low to where any of my Pokemon could just knock it out with a stab option. So that's the thing I'm concerned, and especially if I have Rocks up. So at this point, Vaporeon pretty much has to kind of commit. So now it's at 80%. So he's pretty much forced to keep wishing up. So that's the thing. And also the thing is, this also tells me that he doesn't have Heal Bell on Vaporeon, because he would have gone for it by now. So that's huge. So I just have to keep going for Seismic Tosses. And finally, he decides to go for an offensive play, and he goes to Nihilego, and the HP number kind of scares me a bit, because now I'm concerned that this thing might actually be a sub HP variant. But again, as I speak that to mind, in this battle, I was actually thinking yeah, he may not be sub. And I saw the Black Sludge, and I was like, maybe this thing's defensive or something. maybe it could be like, you know, a T-Spiker. Like, he just finally got fed up with me just going for seismic tosses, and I know it's already turned 29, but yeah, so. Here he goes for the substitute as I try to go for T-Wave, and that's a great play on his end, and good tech on his end. So now I'm pretty much forced to like hit this thing with the seismic toss, but at least we know that he doesn't have another coverage option. Here he has he goes for Sludge Wave as doesn't do much because I'm Spadef, and I'm able to take down this sub on this Nihilego. But the problem is this thing is probably gonna be annoying for most of this game, as you'll see. With this sub, he's able to recover with this with the Black Sludge slowly but surely. And Sludge Wave, like even though this is like I am Spadef, Nihilego still has a respectable special attack stat with 127. So it's like you're not gonna chip it down, or he's gonna chip me down more likely than I'm chipping him down since he has also large HP. Of course, he has no natural recovery, but yeah. The one thing I will note is that Vaporeon is very, very low in HP. So if I do catch it on a Seismic Toss, then I pretty much win it. I could pretty much win that exchange, and he's pretty much out of cleric options without, you know, running proper rest Pokemon like the Aggron. So yeah. Here he goes for Sludge Wave as I go for my Miltank, and of course, being burned is really helpful because of course, like it can, yeah, like being burned means I can't get poisoned at all. So, and burn means that, and with leftovers means I'm able to like stabilize myself. So yeah, leftovers recovery. So yeah, here I go for Seismic Toss, trying to go for damage on this thing, and I get very lucky, and I do get the paralysis there. And this is what I mean. Like, yes, it's a very unfortunate that Aggron gets let's say like paralyzed there, but at this point in the game, like now that Aggron's pretty much gone, and Vaporeon's pretty much gone at this point, he has to pretty much sack Vaporeon or Aggron or one of his other Pokemon, like say, or just go into Vikavolt since that's the only other Mon that hasn't taken chip damage. So yeah, so that's really helpful on my end. So yeah, here I'm just gonna go for Seismic Toss, and I just get rid of a huge threat that's Scizor and Sylveon, which it pretty much makes Sylveon and Scizor's job a lot more easier. So yeah, especially puts the way for cleaves the way for like Scizor. So yeah, out comes the Vikavolt, and I'm like, all right, so I have to go for the Toxic. I do miss, but that's kind of like fair game because of course I got paralysis on him and all the Hurricane misses. So yeah, he goes for the Agility because I think at this point he's probably going for the Agility. He has to go for game because his entire team is already weakened, and Tornadus is very low, and Nihilego is already exposed, and with a healthy Latios, I think him expecting like the fact that there's a healthy Latios, Scizor, like Sylveon and Crocodile, Manaphy, like he needs to start going for like offensive plays, and of course Miltank is too passive right now. So yeah, the Toxic does suck because I would have at least been able to take the Z move better. I could have just Miltanked, keep Toxicing, keep recovering up. But I'm pretty much forced to go for the Toxic because the plan is to just wear down. I don't have a way to kill the Vikavolt if it's like Spadef. Like, in my opinion, I had to land that Toxic. Otherwise, this game was going to become a lot difficult. So yeah. And also the fact that he has no Cleric option is really helpful. So Miltank finally goes down, but it already put in a ton of work being able to kill the Aggron, weaken the Vaporeon, and get rid of the like Miltank pretty much carried the team right there, like throughout that whole exchange. But now we have to make sure that we could use Miltank's exploits to pretty much win this game now. So out comes the Sylveon, and of course I don't want to like let up with this, so I have to go for the Wish. I should have went for Hyper Voice, not gonna lie, because getting chip onto this Nihilego would have been helpful. But I went for Wish there just to pretty much ensure that like my Crocodile would be healthy. So, and at this point I'm like, okay, I need to get up rocks right now, because if I could just get up rocks, Vikavolt, Vaporeon, Tornadus will be just worn down immensely. So yeah. So at this point I'm like, alright, I'm just gonna go for rocks. Yes, I know it sounds weird, especially when he's going for Dazzling Gleam, and that's gonna do over half But the thing is, I really need this thing, like, I really need, like, to ensure that, like, Vaporeon, Nihilego, and Tornadus are, like, out of range of, like, or within range of my Scizor, so yeah. Nihilego, of course, Nihilego is still a threat, but at this point, I'm like, yeah, I don't know what to do in this situation, because I don't know whether to go to Scizor or whether to go to, like, Sylveon, because, or, like, Manaphy or Latios, because obviously Nihilego could possibly outspeed my Lati, because obviously, you may want to speed creep for the Manaphy, so, I don't know whether this thing is special attack raising or speed raising. That's pretty much the main concern here. So at this point, like the main two Pokemon that can carry Knightmare are Nihilego and Tornadus. So here I go to Manaphy because it's pretty much the only other Pokemon that could actually take a hit, and it's pretty much like kind of a mid-ground play, and I didn't want to risk my Scizor there. So yeah. At this point, I'm just gonna hope that like I can pretty much break the sub, which I will. But unfortunately, he puts me out of berry range. But of course, if I ever switch back in, rocks will activate it for me. So this is pretty much kind of a weird situation for me, because this means I could pretty much possibly get the Tornadus with an Ice Beam, and have Manaphy take a Hurricane, and then take a how do I say it? Hurricane from an and then I could just go for Ice Beam. At this point, I could just start clicking, like, I don't have to set up Tail Glow. I just have to just start clicking modes and just start, like, getting into the right situation where, like, Manaphy could just kill Tornadus with Ice Beam, possibly get the Vikavolt with Surf if it's very low, and same with Vaporeon, just go for Energy Ball. So yeah. Of course, this Parasite is really annoying to me. So yeah. Here I go to Scizor, and he actually goes for Sub, which is a very good play on his end, because I think he was kind of expecting that switch out. So I was thinking he would either go for Sludge Wave or the Hidden Power Fire, which as you'll see he does have. So I'm just gonna go for the Bullet Punch here, as pretty much show him that I have it. He goes for the Hidden Power Fire, and unfortunately for me, for him, he pretty much has to sack a Pokemon. But the thing is, I'm within range of I pretty much die to rocks. So I pretty much put myself in a weird situation where Latios probably has to be the one to carry the team in some ways. Latios and Manaphy, Sylveon, and whatnot, so yeah. So this Nihilego with leftovers is becoming very annoying to me. However, for some reason, he goes to Vaporeon. And honestly, I'm not so sure exactly why he goes to this thing. Because, as you'll see, I just go for Bullet Punch. I do it to 17%. But the thing is, this allows me to pretty much recover with, or roost up with Scizor. Of course, he could just go for Wish, but at this point, like, I could Sword Dance up, so, against Vaporeon. I can pretty much take Skulls no matter what, so I still haven't seen the other coverage option, so it could be Hidden Power Fire. But at this point, I pretty much have to take my chances, and I'm just going for Roost. He goes for Scald, and at this point, I'm like, okay, he's definitely going to sack this thing, so yeah. I don't really mind him trying to get to maybe go for the burn there, but like I'm pretty much trying to get healthy enough to where like Scizor can actually just sweep with just Bullet Punch. So I just need to pretty much get like Vikavolt very low and as well as Nihilego. So yeah, pretty much to where like Bullet Punch and U-turn or whatever knocks him out. Here I kind of get greedy and I just go for like another. I go for another like Roost, but of course. As Scald does, it burns me, so as you see, he dies with Toxic, so Vaporeon goes down, and now Vikavolt comes in, so at this point, I'm pretty much forced to go for U-turn here, pretty much get chip damage onto this Vikavolt, and I go to Nui the Sylveon, and of course I'm able to eat that up with the like massive Spadef, so he doesn't have a Z-move anymore, so that's really nice. Here I just go for the Hyper Voice, because at this point, I'm like, alright, I'm tired of this Nihilego. I'm just gonna try to chip it down as best as I can. So he goes for Sludge Wave, as I'm pretty much going for like, I'm pretty much going for Hyper Voices at this point, so yeah. There was one play that I could have like that I was kind of concerned with him going for, and that was possibly like sub. So I pretty much had to like go. I think there was the only other play that he could have gone for was maybe sub, but then again, like, because Hyper Voice goes through like subs, I pretty much attacked the 3% for Nihilego, so it's pretty much him choking the game. So yeah, so he can't go for sub, even though I just said he could. He could, but he probably loses. So he's now in a situation where he can't click sub, and he pretty much has to click, let's say, bullet punch. Like, well, I'm in a situation where Nihilego is very, very weakened, so that bullet punch knocks it out. Like, Vikavolt's very weak to rocks now, so I could knock that out with U-turn. And Sylveon doesn't. At this point, I don't need Sylveon anymore, even though like I pretty much like let it just take a sludge wave like that. So, I think that was the whole point of it. So here he goes for the hidden power fire, but I'm able to live that, and I get another chunk of damage. So at this point, like any attack would like kill Nihilego, like be it my Dragon move, my Dragon Pulse, or my Electrium Z or Thunderbolt. So yeah. So at this point, I'm pretty much gonna know what this thing is boosting. So he's gonna go for Dazzling Gleam, as this is a speed raising Nihilego. So this is indeed like one that is probably speed invested. So it could outspeed my Latios. So yeah. At this point, I pretty much have to respect this, and I'm just gonna go for the Bullet Punch. As of course, this is gonna like knock out the Vikavolt. If not this, then the combination of Toxic and Bullet Punch. So yeah. And now he goes back into Tornadus. And now I'm pretty much debating what to do here, because apparently I didn't calc this, but this is actually a roll in my favor to like Oko this Torn. Like I think it's around like a 56 or 62% chance to Oko this Torn. So with the Bullet Punch, with my investment and with his defense EVs, and this could put this game in his favor if he can get all the confusion hacks he can, and he reveals like he has a Z. Well, he already used a Z move with his Vikavolt, so I don't know what else he could do with against Latios. So yeah, aside Hurricane or U-turn. So yeah, at this point I'm pretty much like forced to go for the Bullet Punch no matter what, and I could try to sack my Crook, but he's just probably gonna go for the U-turn. Probably would have been a better idea to sack Crocodile though. But then again, like I pretty much had a chance to win the game here if I get the roll. So I decided, you know what? I don't want to like risk Crocodile. Well, Crocodile at this point is kind of like I don't want to be in a situation where like Nihilego has a speed boost and then like, well then again, like now that I think about it, Crocodile might have been a better sack here. But then again, like, I'm just like, you know, I'm just gonna go for the Bullet Punch no matter what. So, even if I don't kill, which I do kill, I still have Manaphy, which still has the berry, and Latios is still healthy. So, let's say, and he has to connect with Hurricane, or as he explains, Heat Wave. So now at this point in the game, it's pretty much GG. So we're able to kill this Parasite. The Nihilego, and yeah, this is that is game. So GG's to Knight, as pretty much that was a very sort of tense game, I guess you could say so. One thing I'll admit is that like the Mega Scizor was very helpful like towards the end game there. So having like, especially like the fact that like once everything was weakened, like I knew Bullet Punch like with Scizor would just clean his team. Of course, being burnt kind of sucks, but then again, I got lucky throughout the whole game. With T-Wave, with the Hurricane misses, but then again, I would have just healed up, so... yeah. Like, there's like kind of a weird hindsight 2020 thing I was thinking of right towards the end. I'm gonna like look at it right now. Let me see, it's like the very beginning of the battle. Let's see. Pretty much like, I was thinking like, nah, that would have been a bad play then, because that means okay, like probably I should have just sacked the Crocodile there, but I didn't want to have a situation where it's just Tornadus versus like it's still the same situation, and I'm just gonna get like, okay, pretty much like I don't want to switch out, because if I do, I'm gonna take another 12%, and then like at that point I only have like one more turn to kill. So yeah, and well, I think I'll be like, I think I would barely live, but then again, I don't want to be in a situation where like no, okay, now I realize why. It's like a very long time since I battled, guys, so I do apologize. The reason why I pretty much didn't want to like switch out is because like, of course I'll take rocks damage with Scizor and burn damage as well. Like, I may be able to live one turn, but that's it. Like one turn of burn damage, but that's about it. So, and the fact of the matter is, I saw that there was a damage roll if it was like it was a damage roll if it was like max HP or something like that, and I was like, I thought it was in my favor, but it turns out he was kind of defensive, very defensive, like Tornadus. But you know, like sometimes that happens where like you don't win damage roll as well. But it was kind of a near 50-50, but mostly in my favor. So yeah, I didn't want to switch out because Scizor would probably be around like, again, like it'd probably be like around like 15%, and then like with the bird and all that stuff, I'd rather not like. I think I have like 2 or like 3 turns to like hit bullet punches, so it's like the same situation. So it's like whether I click like I still have to click bullet punch no matter what. It's still the same situation. If he goes for Hurricane, then yeah, he's just gonna go for Hurricane. Nihilego is still like there, still a threat, so yeah. And of course, like even if, let's say, like Scizor wasn't able to kill Tornadus, like I still had a pretty healthy Latios and a healthy Manaphy ready to like help in that situation. So and of course Nihilego wasn't more special attack raising, so that pretty much helped me there. Like, so he wasn't able to like pretty much clean my team, so yeah. And Dazzling Gleam against a Latios is still like doing like at least 50%. Like, it won't, even with a crit, it won't even like kill me unless he's like Life Orb or something. And of course we saw that it's like Black Sludge, so, and he might be bulky with the investment here, like with the what the investment he could be. So yeah. So anyways, thinking about the game, like maybe I could have sacked Crocodile in like anticipating a possible U-turn, but then again, like he was probably going for like, let's say, Heat Wave, and it's just like, or Hurricane, but he had that option with him, so there's not really much I could have done to like there's not really like that many good options there, so that's what I was trying to say. So anyways, like that's pretty much the game. So BG's to Knight. I do sorry that I kind of sound like a little bit confused and not knowing exactly what I'm saying and whatnot, so it's just that this end game, like I had this battle for like a while ago, I think like about 2 weeks ago, so it's not fresh in my memory. So another thing is that like pretty much I will say is that Miltank was pretty much the MVP here. Like it pretty much like almost sold his team in a sense. Like if Miltank was able to paralyze the Nihilego and Tornadus, then I think we would have been in an amazing situation. Obviously, that would have happened. We wouldn't even need that. Like Manaphy and Latios just come in and just do their thing and just set up. Pretty much Latios would just come in, do its thing, and just sweep his team. So yeah. But the fact that he had sub like Nihilego was very, very helpful, because of course the fact that that thing is just very, very, very like fat from like its HP standpoint. So yeah. Thank God it wasn't like a sub HP very, you know, like a seismic type variant. That would have been very bad. So yeah. So all this sort of like mumbling and talking of going on through like displaying this battle like pretty much means that we're now in finals in KCBL. So yeah. Like pretty much I don't know my opponent at the moment. So, but they'll probably see this video or whatnot. So, if you're watching this, thank you for helping the channel. So, That's all I'm gonna say. Anyway, so GG's tonight as we advance to finals. So I don't know. Again, I feel like a record recorder, but I really want to say. I'm just gonna say that. So this is pretty much a long game. So I'm probably gonna split this up to 2 videos. Probably upload in the same day. So hopefully you guys enjoy. So anyways, I'll hope you guys have a good day. So take care.